The Sims 4 had 25 skin tone swatches when it first came out, and 9 of those were unnatural colors, like blue and green and gray. And then in an update in 2018, they added 10 more, and they were like, oh look, we added these great darker skin tone swatches. There's more swatches for darker skin tones. But they were ashy and terrible, and frankly, still gray. And so now, here we are 6 years on from the release of The Sims 4, and we are still severely lacking in better, darker skin tone swatches. There needs to be a change. I've got a huge platform on YouTube. I think it's really important for me to throw my voice out there and talk about these things, but also, I just threw a huge hissy fit about cow plants. I really wanted to be able to name cow plants in The Sims 4. I was like, oh, you can name bikes, but you can't name cow plants, so we made this big meme out of it, we trended it on the gallery, and then they actually did it. They made it so that you can name cow plants in The Sims 4. And obviously, cow plants are not the same thing as a complete overhaul of Cass, but it did pose the question, like, oh, you'll listen to her about cow plants, but we over here have been talking about skin tones for 6 years and you never did anything to improve diversity in the game. Cow plants don't matter, but the ability to recreate yourself in The Sims in a game that is designed to represent life is a big deal. You shouldn't need to use mods to recreate something so basic as the color of your skin. 35 is a terribly low number of skin tone swatches. You cannot represent all of humanity in 35 swatches, especially not when so many of them are just bad. Listen, Cass in The Sims 4 is way better than The Sims 3 in many ways. Being able to click and drag faces is a huge improvement from like nose sliders, but the slider system was so much better in The Sims 3 for skin tone. You just cannot represent life with swatches like that. They'll never be good enough. All of Sims 3's cast was on a slider, so you could change like muscle mass and you could even move like the nose or how far apart the eyes were and all of that with a slider. But more importantly, the skin tone worked with a slider. So you could pick an undertone and then you drag the slider to determine how dark or light the skin is. And this is like a no-brainer. Obviously, you would have a slider for skin tones because you can't just have swatches. I mean, that doesn't cut it, right? Except The Sims 4 only has swatches. And I don't really understand that decision. Like, I don't know who made that choice or why they made that choice. I don't know if it's easy to fix that problem in The Sims 4. I'm not a game developer. I don't know how that works. I imagine that completely overhauling Cass and adding a slider is like near impossible. Doesn't mean it's impossible, and they should do it. But at the very least, you can fix the swatches we have and add more of them. It just doesn't make any sense why they haven't done that yet. I mean, there's mods for it. Tons of mods for it. Mira made the Melanin Pack that adds 54 new swatches for skin tone in the game. Incredible, rich skin tones that are worlds better than the Sims 4 ones. Wait until I show you the difference. Also, new highlight and blush that actually work on darker skin tones. I mean, we all know we're severely lacking when it comes to makeup, darker hair swatches, hair textures, all of that for Black Sims. But these things exist in custom content, but you cannot rely on custom content for something so basic as skin tone. Not everybody can use custom content. Simmers play on console or they run on low-end PCs and they can't use it. You have to add this into the base game. It is ridiculous that it's not in the base game. I will of course link this down below, and all of Mira's stuff. She's amazing. I mean, she took this problem she saw where she couldn't recreate herself in the game and she fixed it. There are a ton of calls, people being like, why don't you just add Mira's Melanin Pack? Mira fixed The Sims 4 already, hire Mira. And I just don't understand why they haven't added better swatches. It's not like it's impossible. I don't get it. They need to explain themselves and they need to be transparent about their plans to fix this. I think this is an issue with game companies just in general, is this lack of transparency. They need to be open and honest about their solutions for this problem, if they're working on it, if they've tried to work on it in the past, why the ones they have are so bad. I know we can't blame the sim gurus for that. They're being told they can't talk about it, I'm assuming. And for all we know, they could be working on it behind the scenes, but I think they need to be open about that because we know they're seeing what we're talking about. We know they're seeing these videos. They've been seeing it for years, but why haven't you said anything about it? And again, we cannot blame individuals for that because I am certain they just aren't allowed to. So don't send hate to sim gurus on Twitter, but some higher ups need to like open their brains for a second and understand that you have to talk about these problems. You cannot just sweep this under the rug. You need to have a solution. There've been a lot of tweets about this recently. Alessandro on Twitter showed off like how the textures work on pets in The Sims 4 because if you didn't know, there's a color wheel for pets in The Sims 4. And so they were talking about like color layers and how you can paint onto pets and how Sims texture layers work and stuff. I don't really understand the behind the scenes of these things. But in response to this, Luddy Simmer made this like concept GIF about how a skin slider might work in The Sims 4. Obviously this is just a GIF, it's just a concept art piece. But this is the kind of thing they need to add. A few undertones, a slider, just like The Sims 3. We are yet again asking for The Sims 3 in The Sims 4. And you know, while we're talking about it, let's talk about pets. I don't know if you knew, but in The Sims 4, let me move my face cam down for this. I don't know if you knew, but in The Sims 4, they've got a full-on paint mode with a color wheel. You can paint a smiley face on your dog if you want to. They've got opacity sliders. The dogs have more options for skin tone than The Sims. Now, I'm sure that it was easier to like build this from the ground up than it would be to go back and change to add this for The Sims. But like, it is kind of a slap in the face that we have this for dogs, but not for humans. It's kind of ridiculous. The mechanics are there. It's obviously possible. Why doesn't it exist for our Sims? The mechanics for sliders exist too. And I don't mean to downplay the work that it would take to actually implement this. I'm just trying to emphasize how important it is to do it, and also talk about the fact that it is this huge slap in the face, because we're all seeing it as being right there. And yet, we still don't have good skin tones for The Sims. I mentioned earlier Mira's Melanin Pack, which I have linked down below, but she added 54 new skin tone swatches for Sims. This is the kind of thing that we need to have actually in the game. You can see she's got a million new swatches. So much better than the ones that are actually in the game. Just incredible darker skin tone swatches. And again, it's obviously possible. Modders can do it. Why don't these things exist in the game? And when you compare some of the darkest colors of Mira's Melanin Pack with the darkest colors in the Sims 4 base game, I mean, that's shameful. The swatches that they added in that update are really, really bad. It doesn't make any sense. They need to fix this. And I'm coming from a place where I am a white girl with light brown hair, and I can make myself easily in this game. I mean, this exact hair color is my exact hair color in real life. I have my skin color, I have my eye colors, but a lot of people don't have that luxury, and it's not a luxury. It's a basic thing that needs to exist. It shouldn't be a luxury to be able to accurately have diverse Sims in the game. It shouldn't be a luxury to be able to make yourself in The Sims. This is a game that is solely designed to do just that. I've made a lot of videos in the past talking about makeup issues as well, but truthfully, this is a huge issue all around in CAS. I mean, the darkest hair color swatch looks blue. The base game makeup, the new MAC makeup, looks terrible on darker skin tones. I mean, this is horrifying. Even on EA's skin tones. It's just shameful. There are a lot of changes that need to be made in CAS, starting with skin tones. Listen to Black people when they're talking about these problems, amplify their voices. The fact that Black people have been complaining about this for years and there has been no change, that's terrible. Black Simmers have been complaining about this for years. They can't be brushed off. This is a serious issue and there needs to be a change. I keep saying that, but I think it's important that we all use our voices and we speak up and we make the developers of this game listen to us. I'm gonna say it again, people should be able to represent themselves in a game designed to represent life. I'm gonna link Mira's stuff down below, and I will see you guys all tomorrow.